Good morning, everybody. I think we'll make a start. I think I've seen that people are joining us, and it's sort of the numbers remain static for a little while. So hopefully some more people will join us a little bit later on. Good morning. As I say, thank you very much for being with us this morning for another in our series of webinars. And today we're concentrating on sales and marketing. And it promises to be a thought-provoking session. These webinars are designed to be a taster, giving chamber members a chance to share their knowledge and best practice. And today, as I say, we're concentrating on sales and marketing. We all want more sales, but I personally don't like to come across as being too pushy. Using the chamber as an example, the more members we recruit, the more events and services we can offer, such as webinars like today's. Some member organisations allow you to come to a number of events and then sort of, are quite draconian, so you then have to be a member. We at the chamber, we're more we're more laid back, I like to think. We're more welcoming. During the pandemic, our weekly task force webinars giving advice were open to all chamber members and non-members alike. And actually, during the pandemic, our membership actually increased because businesses began to see how a Chamber of Commerce can actually help, acting as a conduit and introduction service. And that really is as hard as my sale pitch goes. If you can't see the benefits of joining the chamber, well, so be it. So I'm not really a very good salesperson. So maybe I need some tips. So over to our panel. I'm really pleased. We've got a very interesting array of people with us this morning. And first up is Rob Dawkins, who is describes himself as a sales coach. So Rob, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Right, let's skip to it. I'm going to share my screen with you all. Okay, so let's talk about some of the common challenges businesses face in sales. And that is definitely important because these are things that we often pretend don't exist. So it's great to have these things in place where we can talk about them. And let's talk about one of the number one reasons why most businesses fail. So if you look at a 10-year period, most businesses fail. So that's 80% of businesses that start up don't last more than 10 years. The reason for that is low sales. Simple but crazy stat, right? Let's look at the number one reason why all businesses are successful. High sales. No business will ever go under because of too many sales. Never exists. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges millions and millions of businesses face each and every day, just like yourselves. Failing to follow up with leads after the initial contact. Now, as Sally quite put it, doesn't like to be too pushy, doesn't want to be salesy, and that's exactly what happens with a lead. You give them all the time in the world, and we don't follow up. So 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days goes past. It's now past that 7-day period. And what happens? You think to yourself, I don't want to reach out. It's been too long. What you should be doing is reaching out within 24 to 48 hours. And the reason for that is because you're keeping things fresh. You're making sure that urgency is there. When you leave it too long, there is no urgency from the prospect to really take action. And they'll actually forget about you. And most likely, they would have been snapped up by someone else. Not asking for the sell because you're afraid of rejection. If you're never getting a no, how do you expect to get a yes? The reality in sales is most people don't like to hear a no because they take it personal. The moment you stop taking things so personal, the moment it's easier for you to accept and acknowledge a no. And it's not a no, it's just not now. Rejection is all part of the business, and that's how you grow, and that's how you will get your experience. Without the experience, you can never move forward. Relying too much on discounts instead of adding value. I have so many of my own personal clients, and when I go to workshops and things like that, all I ever hear are discounts. Sign up today, we'll give you 50% off. And what people are failing to realize is the discount, you're just devaluing your own personal business. Now, let's say for argument's sake, you have a service or a product. That's £5,000. You sign up today, you get 50% off. So you're saying that your business is negotiable. Your time is negotiable. In fact, you're taking away the value that you bring because you're saying that I could, I, for less, I will provide the same service. And what actually happens is when someone pays less for your service, they're not seeing it as 50% off. Instead of 5,000, they're seeing your business worth as 2,500. So they want more because they see that you're prepared to lower your standards. So forget the discount, add value. Setting goals that won't change what you do. Time and time again, I see this all the time. We set unrealistic goals and we set goals that don't do anything for our business and will not implement any change to your business. So here's a thought-provoking question for yourselves. What goals have you set this week that will allow your business to move forward? What goals have you set this week that will enable you to bring in more sales, more prospects, more leads? If you haven't done any of that, that's productive for your business. What is the purpose of your goals? Setting goals is one thing. Setting tangible, specific goals that will drive your business and move your business forward is another. Overcomplicating your offer with what you do and how you help people. I see this all the time in businesses where they can't explain in one line, in one sentence, what it is they do. If you want to help people, you have to keep it simple. If you can't explain what you do in one sentence, it's not the prospect or the clients who don't understand, it's probably yourself. Keep it simple with what you do, who you help, and how. One line, and keep it simple so it's everyone that can understand what it is that you do. Ignoring the signs when sales aren't growing. It's crazy, but I have clients myself, and I was sharing a story where I had someone who hadn't seen growth in 3 years. And for me, it's like, why would it take you that long? Ignoring the obvious signs that what you're doing doesn't work. And that's the whole point of change as well. If you can see something is not working, why would you not change? So it's all about acknowledging and being able to understand where things are not growing and not increasing. Speaking to the wrong people. I see this time and time again. Another problem is we're talking to any and everyone just to get sales, just to get business, just to get clients in, but they're not the right fit for your business. So if they're not the right fit for your business, why would you be talking to them? Niche down, be very specific in who your ideal client is, who you help, and how. No daily proactive steps to attract new business. Here's another thought-provoking question for you all. What are you doing every single day that will drive more business? Are you sending a WhatsApp? Are you sending an email? Are you doing a social post with what you do, who you help? Are you telling everyone about your offer? Because if you're not doing anything to attract new business every single day, and I'm not talking about doing it every single Monday, every single Friday, because remember, if you reach out to people on a Monday, they might not get back to you. If you do a social post, they might have missed it on a Monday. So by doing this every single day and being consistent, it's only one person that it takes for there to be a trend. So you need to make sure you're being proactive daily to attract new business. Letting pride get in the way of getting help. Ignoring the signs of when sales are not growing. When things are not working for you. Maybe you're doing a strategy that's not working. And then you think to yourself, do you know what? I can do this. I'm going to persevere. 1 week, 2 weeks, a year goes by. Just asking for help. And remember, asking for help is a sense of pride. We put pride in a way. Asking for help is a sense of strength. So don't let pride get in the way of it. If you don't ask for the sale, you'll never get paid. And that is the number one reason why we have a business. Remember, all sales, including closing, is learned and learnable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yes, I heard you speak recently at the Acton bid breakfast, and I must admit I was, yes, what you say makes a huge amount of sense, and we had a very interesting conversation afterwards about chasing invoices, but I'm sure we'll come on to that later. But, yes, thank you very much. Now we were due to have, we'll do questions at the end. We were due to have a Bobby Patel from Whatever Brands, but for some reason he hasn't actually logged on. He's nowhere to be seen, is he, Lisa? He's not waiting anywhere.
No.
No, okay. Well, what I understood Whatever Brands to do, and I was quite intrigued to hear him speak, is that if you have so say like Peppa Pig, and then there's a franchise, and they go off and they make pajamas and they make lunch boxes and what have you, and I think Whatever Brands is responsible for those licensed sales, which I thought would have been quite interesting. Anyway, we shall move swiftly on to Mrinal Madina, who is going to be talking about managing your connections network. Well done, Mrinal, because I know you had tech problems, but I can see you have logged on. So over to you. You're on mute. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
There we go. You're all right now.
Hi, everyone. Good. Good to see you all. I am not in my normal office. I'm at an event with the Earls Court Development Company, so the internet's been a bit dodgy. But Lisa, are you able to share the slides that I sent you? Okay, wonderful. So welcome everyone to this talk on the topic of managing your connections network. I think this is a very interesting topic because it affects us all, no matter how successful we are. Next slide, please. And I'm going to take you back to the start of my journey. So the year was about 1992. That's not actually me on the left. It's a professional cricketer that went on to play for India. But my dream was to be a professional cricketer. And I used to go to matches. I was playing for Derbyshire at the time in the junior section. And I felt that I wasn't getting the best opportunities compared to other people in the group, because my father, who is on the right there, he used to come to the matches, but he'd keep himself to himself. He wouldn't talk and engage with the other parents or the coaches. He was a little bit shy in that environment. Better opportunities than me, because my dad was not, in fact, networking. And that got me thinking that this is never going to happen to me or my children in the future. And my story really begins there, with my eyes being open to this situation. So next slide, please. So in this short amount of time, we're going to cover why it's important to manage your connections network better, how you do it, and the most important bit. So we've got about 7 minutes and then some time for Q&A. So next slide, please. So I don't know how many of you have heard this phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Does that make sense with you? Have you heard that? Next slide, please. So my phrase is, it's not who you know, it's what they think of you. And the reason is, we all know lots of people, but it doesn't mean we trust them with specific tasks, which could be to run your marketing or run an event for you or do your accounts or babysit your children. Just because you know someone, it doesn't mean they're going to trust you with work, business, friendship, whatever else. So it's about what they think of you. That's what I think is equally as important as who you know. Next slide. So why this topic? Well, when I started my career in the IT world, I realized there's two types of people. There was those that knew everything about the system, and there was those that played golf with the managers. And I knew very quickly which group I wanted to be in. But essentially, what it boils down to is people skills. And if you are in a leadership position, aspire to be in a leadership position, and whether that's in your work or you're leading your family, for example, or anything as you get more senior, it's all about people skills. And that's why this topic's so important. And it's uncharted territory. It's hard to learn. No, you don't really get taught this. I didn't remember the the topic at school of how to build your connections network or a GCSE in this. So it's a difficult topic to learn. No one's really teaching it, and that's why I thought I will get into this. And I believe that once you get to the mastery level, it will help take you to the promised land of your dreams. And that could be financial. It could be non-financial as well. It could be just having a really nice, happy, balanced life with everything you want, with the people you've got around you, and your children are doing well and creating opportunities. So it's really a holistic approach to this, and it all comes from mastery of the topic. Next slide. Thank you. Benefits for you. So many people are here looking for more clients. This definitely helps you with more clients. If you do this well, you will get a range of introductions every month across the year, and that's just one benefit. And the clients that you have will stick with you. Often in life, we need mentors, we need smarter people around us, helping us, advising us, having our back. And having a powerful network helps you meet great mentors. And you can also find people to mentee, and they will help you as well. So there's a two-way street here. And then getting ambassador and advisory roles and sitting on committees, and that stuff's really good. It gets you involved in the community. It gives you a chance to give back and learn and engage with interesting people. And I've been really fortunate to do that, and probably been offered over 10 or 15 of those kind of things in the past because of the power of the network. So multiple benefits. There's many more that I haven't described, but these are just some. Next slide, please. Right, I've looked to break this down into as simple a process as possible. So just 4 parts to this, which every consultant or coach loves, a diagram with boxes and circles. So here's mine. And I start with the U phase. And then we go into building your network, the follow-up, which I know Rob talked about. I wholeheartedly agree with him how important that is. And then the maintenance phase. How do you maintain the network once you have it? So moving on to the U phase, this is extremely important. Lisa, thank you. Right, so which stage are you at? Are you a young professional or running a startup business? Are you a manager level, which might be after 5 years of your career up to maybe 15 years, and then director, and then you could be at the industry expert, veteran, or investor level. So for each of these sections, what you can offer other people when you meet them differs. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, everybody's got something important to offer. If you're a young professional, you may not have the capital that you can put into projects or the powerful connections that maybe the industry veterans have, but you might have energy, technical know-how. It may be even that you share content or learning things about technology that some people don't know. You could be liking their posts and sharing content on social media. There's lots of things you can do as a young professional or a startup, even if you don't have the capital or the powerful network that more experienced people have. The second is the manager level. So here you're looking to offer things to your senior colleagues, and you have your finger on the pulse with what the younger generation want. And you're in that nice middle period of understanding both. So you're a very important role because you're the ones making things happen in organizations often. And then at the director level, you can offer a lot more. You can take on clients, so you'll be useful to suppliers. You can make introductions, you can speak at events, and then you can connect people with industry experts and veterans, because you tend to have a lot more of them the closer you get to director level. So at every stage, there's something to offer, and it's important to understand what you can offer, because at pretty much every level, you can offer something. And it's important to be strong in the U phase, rather than just going out and attempting to network and build a network with nothing behind you, no substance. It's really helpful and useful. For myself, I started getting more confident about 5 years into my career. So when I was about 27, and the reason is you go through these phases, you finish university, start a job, and then you're just at the bottom of the pecking order again. You're learning your trade. And after 3 or 4 years, you've had some success. And then you get the confidence to go out and meet people. So this all takes time, but start with having something to offer. It's very useful to meet with peers when you are at that young professional and startup level, and you can do a lot more with them. Next slide, please. So at the moment, I feel that I can offer a lot when I go and meet people. I speak at events, I host events, I have a network of people I can introduce. And so I'm at that kind of director or industry veteran level, or hoping to aspire to be. But there are people levels above me, and I know that. But I'm enjoying the stage I'm at, and I feel like I can offer most people something that they want. So when I go into an event, it's not about what you can get from it. I look at what you can give, and the rewards come later. Next slide, please. So in terms of building your network, I have broken down some of the different sections here of who is in your network. And I'm going to start with friends and family, because they are the people you spend the most time with other than your work colleagues. And often it's the reason why you do things. It is for your friends and family, whether that's providing financially or supporting them or creating opportunities. They are the reason why I do things, for example. And then your boss, if you're working for an employer, or your clients, if you're running your own business, or customers, if you have a type of business with many customers and they're not as much not as much in terms of high values. So say if you're running a hairdressing salon or something like that, I would say you have customers, and they are the ones who pay you essentially. So you've got to make sure you look after them and find ways to add value and give more to them. Your team, so the colleagues around you, and I've split that into internal and external. So your internal team work with you, and your external team, maybe people like if you have a personal trainer, I count that as part of your team, or a physio, but not actually working with you day to day. It could be your cleaner. If I'm lucky enough to have a cleaner, she comes in twice a month, and I make a big effort to make sure I take care of her and treat her well, because it's an important thing. It's a luxury to have a clean flat. I like to have a clean flat. And this is all part of your team and your network. You've got to look after everyone in there. Partners and suppliers, very important. They're a good source of introductions. They provide services to you. So it can be anything from marketing to venues. So I know with the Chamber, Alan and Sally and the team, they use a lot of venues. They're partners, as do I, hosting events. So working closely with partners and suppliers, promoting them, taking regular business to them, and then they will help and promote you and support you in return. Introducers are very important. If you don't have a good network of introducers, I would look to build on this. Having people that work in complementary industries and making referrals to you, and you can catch up with them on one-to-one meetings, or you can organize a little event or a drinks party where you reward them once a quarter. So something like that. It could be financial, where you provide them something for the introductions, or just making introductions to them. So introducers are very important. And then industry contacts. So these are people you don't know that well, but you want to get to know, or they are useful, but you might see them 2 or 3 times a year. And I put them in the industry contacts bracket. So moving on, please. So the follow-up, very important. Rob touched on this as well. Why is it important to follow up? If you don't spend the time following up, you've almost wasted the effort going to the event. So it's really important that you do follow up, and think about how often you follow up and when you follow up. So if you do it too quickly, it can appear a bit overeager. And if you leave it too long, it may be that you forget because other things come up. So I would say between 24 and 48 hours is a good amount of time to follow up. The amount of business and connections I've had when you've met someone, but you don't do something till a couple of months later, or it could even be years later. I recently got an inquiry from a client, a potential client that could be one of my biggest clients. And I played cricket with this guy about 18 years ago, and we weren't even friends. He just knew me, and he was seeing me on LinkedIn. And that was a really surprising thing that happened. So it's just keeping in touch with people, following up, connecting on LinkedIn, adding them to your newsletter, however you do it. But I'd say in the first few interactions, do personalize the interaction, understand the person, think about what level they're at. We looked at those levels earlier in the U phase, and think about what level they are, because if they're extremely busy, they may not welcome you contacting them every 2 or 3 days or once a week. But look at more than just them as a sales opportunity. Look at building a long-lasting partnership or relationship with them and offering value. And that value can be some of the things we mentioned before, which could be articles or liking their social media posts or inviting them to an event. So what value can you offer them? And think about how much time you want to spend with them. And it's about consistency. It's about seeing the people you want as regularly and as often as you think is necessary. So follow up or fail is really the mantra from this section. Next slide, please. So how can you maintain your network better? Feel free to take a moment or two thinking about the answers to that question. I know for myself, and seeing the great work that the Chamber do as an example, this is the Business Awards at the Clayton Hotel last year. And by throwing these wonderful, big, high-profile events, if you like, the Chamber are a great example of how they maintain their network. They are seeing people regularly, but they bring people together and consistently work at this. So if you think about using that as an example, how can you do that in your own world? How can you maintain that network? Because it's one thing building your network, it's another thing maintaining it. And it gets harder and harder because you get more and more people that come to you. But that's why I've been a big proponent of events for many years. They work really well for connecting with people, getting more people to hear about you. And it's one way to do it. It's not the only way. It's one way to do it. But find the way that works for you and do put some time and effort thinking about it, especially with 2025 coming up. Now's the time to plan for next year. Next slide, please. So the most important bit, I do think following up is extremely important, but I'm going to add up another word, which is having fun. And I love what I do, and I'm really lucky with the events I've been to, the relationships I've built. And so it doesn't feel like work for me. And it shouldn't feel like work for you. Building and maintaining your connections network should be enjoyable. And I do a lot of things through sport. It's a passion of mine. It's my work. Find the thing that works for you. It doesn't have to be sport. It can be anything else. It can be charity work or arts or culture. But find something that works for you. And I last year was invited to apply for a scholarship to go to Costa Rica for a leadership retreat in the jungle with a bunch of Americans and Canadians. And I applied for the scholarship, managed to win it, went over there, had an incredible experience. I was open-minded about doing something like this. So I was in the jungle for a week, monkeys coming and waking us up at 5 a.m. It was incredible. And when you have this network, when you have a very powerful network, great opportunities come up that you wouldn't have even thought of. So this is one of the side benefits of doing this. So have fun along the way. Next slide, please. So just very quickly, I'm Mrinal Madina. I have a sports and entertainment agency called ESA. We do events, sponsorships, special projects, and so on. We've got a series of night golf events that we're planning for the property sector in March, which is a pretty exciting concept. We've just got a famous cricket centre called Sixes Cricket that have just taken on title sponsorship with some very high-profile cricketers. So I'm also working with the UCS tennis tour, which is coming to London 6th to the 8th of December. Don't take my word for it. Ask Alan or Shantanu, if you know them. Alan Rides attended the tennis tour. It's great fun. Recommend everyone go to that. And just a new initiative we're launching on the next slide, please.
So I'm aware of time, Mrinal.
Okay, yeah, nearly finished. So it's the Drive to Growth Club, where we're teaching people skills that they don't learn at school or university. So we've got a whole range of events with a conference for property developers next month on the 20th of November. So if you're interested in any of this, please come and talk to me. Final slide. Just to summarize, start with you, build your network, master the art of the follow-up, and maintain what you have. So good luck, and please do share any feedback if you've enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrinal. Thank you. I now see that, yeah, no, thank you. That was good. I now see we've got Rob Dawkins with us, which is great. Rob, are you up for doing your presentation now, or do you want to have a few minutes to collect yourself? No, not Rob Dawkins. Sorry, I got myself so confused. I thought it was Bobby Patel. We've been doing some email exchanges. And I'm getting, yeah, anyway, Bobby, yeah, we still haven't got Bobby. Right, we shall move on. Right, we are now going to be talking with Ariane Morin from the Weir pub. Now, the Weir pub is I'm going to say it's an independent pub. It's not part of a chain, I think I'm right in saying, and it's based in Brentford, and I walk past it every day, usually. And I was just struck by when Banksy did his goat mural over Kew Bridge, there was a wonderful image on the Weir pub reflecting the goat. They also had their own goat. And I just thought that was really clever. So, you know, and I just thought, whoa, yeah, it impressed me. It made me stop. It made me smile. And in these days, you know, we need a bit of smiling. So, Ariane, over to you, please.
Hello. Thank you, Sally. Hi, everyone. I'm here on behalf of Joanne, the owner of the Weir pub. So I'm part of the sales and marketing team here at the Weir pub. I think what I could share with you today is how we have established that team here at the Weir pub. We all have different skills in terms of sales and marketing. And what I'd like to do is break it down to share how we break down the sales and marketing team and the different tasks that we have been allocated. So we're a team of 3 looking after sales and marketing at the Weir pub. I personally look after the B2B business development outreach, focusing on corporates because at the Weir we have a space to host private dining and special events. But also to bring new business. So I focus more on B2B, corporate, and new business outreach. I also do data management. So we have a database of potential clients, existing clients, and recurring clients, and I manage that as well. There's other 2 members. We have one team member specifically looking after our social media platforms. We are on most of the platforms, essentially Instagram and TikTok, because we're targeting the 30 over 40s. This is our niche. So TikTok, very in trend, Instagram, and we also have Facebook and LinkedIn. So Ellie is our creative. She looks after those platforms. She came up with the goat. She's our resident creative, and she looks after that. Lastly, but not least, we have a 3rd team member in our sales and marketing team. She deals mainly with email marketing. So all the leads that I bring in terms of corporate, all the new business that is attracted on site, because we capture all the new customers as they come in, when they log in on our Wi-Fi system. We grab their data and we keep the momentum going, as we were talking earlier about maintaining the relationship with customers. So that is done through email as much as it's done on our social media platforms. I think quite a few elements have been brought up this morning in terms of sales and marketing. It's not only about getting new leads, but is very much so about maintaining that connection. I do that on regular basis, on weekly basis with our corporate connections. So it's not only getting new business, but it's also maintaining that personal connection. Nowadays, we are bombarded with information, bombarded with offers, And what makes us different is giving that personal touch. As you mentioned, Sally, we are independent, and what makes us special is very much so this personal touch and that connection with our customers. Joanne is very keen on creating that relationship. She's very much present in her establishment, in the pub. She likes to know who her customers are. She's passionate about her business, and you can feel that through the connection she has with her customers. She's also a community builder, and I think we touched a little bit on that subject. Networking is a huge part of the Weir. Joanne has been involved in a lot of community events, helping raise Brentford community, and it's her way to give back to the community, not only welcoming customers, but also making sure that she leaves her imprints and positivity in the community. So that's a big part of her role as well. We are all passionate, as I mentioned, about what we do here. We try to keep things fresh. We come up with various events to attract new customers. We keep the connection live with our customers. We listen to them. We always ask feedback. So whenever customers come to us, not only do we capture their data, but we also ask them for their experience. So their experience matters to us, and we will engage in the conversation, whether it's a positive or not so much so. We will always come back to our customers. So listening to our customers and making their experience the best possible. I think this gives you a little bit of insight on how the sales and marketing team works here at the Weir. We all have our different expertise, and personally, I think it works really well. We work as a team. Communication between ourselves is very important to make sure that every element of the sales and marketing process is working smoothly. So far, so good. We are thriving. We've just hosted our last Halloween party. We have bookings for Christmas coming up. So on last word, maybe. Please visit us online at theweirbar.com and come and experience the Weir in Brentford.
Thank you very much, Ariane. Thank you. As I say, we'll do sort of questions at the end. I think we are now coming on to Theo Ruby of Theo Ruby Marketing, who is going to be talking about marketing and also touching on ethical marketing. I think that's right. Over to you, please, Theo.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, Sally. Firstly, I actually went to the Weir as part of our group, the Business Beanstalk. We had an event at the Weir, and it was beautiful. Like that, they were really accommodating and had a really nice setup outside as well. I'm just going to go in. So I build websites and I do SEO, but today we're just talking about ethical marketing and a strategy for building trust with your customers and growth for your business. So it's really more about than selling a product. It's about building up your values, respecting your customers, and showing that you're giving something back. It used to be for more like bigger businesses, bigger budgets, and now it's becoming attainable and important for smaller businesses to do it as well. So even if you're on a small budget, you have limited resources, there's things you can do to be known as an ethical and sustainable business. Obviously, as a bigger brand, everyone knows Patagonia. They've really gone through and they're going against consumerism, and they're saying, look, you can repair, you can reuse our products. We want these to be lifelong products, not like Shein, Temu, and like fast fashion. So that is a really, really good example of how you can put ethics at the forefront of your business. And when you're looking at it, there's 5 main kind of pillars of ethics as for when you're marketing, when you're using it as kind of a conversation piece or a social media piece. You got your transparency. So be honest about your products, your pricing, and the impact they give. You can back that up with data. You can give examples of like how it actually makes a good impact for the planet. Your honesty, so you avoid deceptive practices. Little things like some people adding on the cost of VAT or hidden costs, upsells, stuff like that. You can really change the way that you position the product and the pricing. Your social responsibility, aligning with broader societal goals. So, for example, as part of the Business Beanstalk, we have a charity partner, and we always try and give a percentage towards charities and promote kind of the local community. That was Young Ealing Foundation. So it's just making sure that you're in touch with the local community, doing charitable events, donating, and giving back a little bit as well. Obviously, a big part of it's inclusivity. So making sure that even things like your website's accessible, that you're giving anyone who might be, say, dyslexic or blind or deaf or anything else, making sure that you're marketing your website and everything that you do is accessible for them as well. And then also including a diverse mix where possible. And then also privacy. So everyone knows about GDPR, privacy policies, the importance of being able, customers to be able to keep their data. And some of you might have even heard of Apple's new privacy by design. So that's actually a huge step forward for them. They're the only ones in the market doing it. Although they're not the best business overall, that is something that no other business can actually match. And it's helping them to have a stronger brand. And another example, so Lush is known for anti-animal testing. That's really that's made them stand out, giving them a competitive edge. So really it's about being transparent and honest with your marketing, trying to give back where possible, being accessible, and obviously looking after customer data. So if you can do a little bit of those, it will make a huge difference. And just in terms of what it means for your business, so it's really about setting you apart from the competition. For example, Co-op, if someone's thinking ethically, they'll choose Co-op over HSBC. It goes more than just how you feel about the business. It's in their marketing, their data, how they use, where they spend their money, where they invest as well. There's even investment funds now that focus on sustainability. So it really should be part of your brand loyalty. And then it's also, it becomes part of your press releases, your PR, your social media. It gives you an edge and a talking point that you can use in your comms as well. And then also it can attract the right kind of talent. So if you're going out to local universities and graduates, the kind of younger employees are looking to work for sustainable brands, and there's a shift towards this eco-friendly vibe as well. So you have older brands such as The Body Shop, been around for 20, 30 years. Innocent Smoothies, maybe it's been around for about 10 years or so. And then Who Gives a Crap is a much smaller brand. And it's not really like, I never thought toilet paper would become like a sexy brand, but now they're in the media, they've done really well in their social media marketing, and they're showing that sustainability can make a huge difference. But obviously, like a lot of us work for ourselves, we have limited budgets, limited resources, and it's most of the time it's about kind of breaking even, let alone trying to just give back and do something for the planet. But there's a few things you can do regardless of your size. So you can be authentic. The word greenwashing means using sustainability as a marketing tool, but you can go against that by having the data, certificates, and audits. So you've got like I think Sally mentioned before, the Good Business Charter, and there's other associations you can join, and things like B Corp, Good Business Charter, to prove your ethos. Also, knowing your audience's values. So make sure that your comms, everything you're doing is resonating with your audience. I mean, any business when they're setting up should research what their audience interests are and try and match their comms with that. Most importantly, obviously, align with UK regulations and embed ethics across the business. So when you're employing someone, when you're working with a freelancer or you're doing marketing, just make sure that it's at the forefront of everything that you do. Put it into your SOP, for example. It just helps throughout the entire business funnel. And then looking at how you would share impact. So use even things like Google Analytics and your data, measure the difference it makes, and make sure that you're transparent about it and that you actually use it for your employees, for your investors. When you're looking, say, for a venture capitalist, you can use all that data to give you a boost as well. So whether you're literally working from your bedroom, you got like a local high street store, or you're then moving up and going into, say, corporate, it really can be part of every single step of the journey. About, God, 3 years ago, I worked with a client who she actually advises for the UN. And this was when the SDGs, this is the Sustainable Development Goals written out by the UN. They're more generally for bigger businesses. However, you can look at each of them and there's things you can apply in your own business. I've actually got a resource on it, and you can go through and you can pick. So it might be paying a fair wage, or making sure good working practices, or you're giving back, or you're using sustainable tools. There's a link there, you can find out more about it. And then a QR code if you want to take a picture. And then finally, obviously, so I do everything from web and SEO. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. For any West London Chamber businesses, I've got a half-price SEO guide just helping you to get the most from ethical marketing in your SEO. Quite short and sweet. This is all going to be on my website, so just let me know if you've got any questions. Sally, shall I stop sharing? You go to
that will be lovely. Thank you very much, Theo. Thank you. I think that does all our speakers, because I can't see that the famous Bobby Patel has actually reached us. Alan, do you want to say a few words? Because I know that you're very strong on sales too, and we've got, well, we're 10:49, and then we can take some questions.
Okay, so my part of my background hasn't really been about sales. It's been about the marketing side of things. And I've listened to all the speakers, and I've not heard marketing in its purest sense talked about that much. You've gone into some detail, Theo, of ethical marketing from an internet base of a platform. But can somebody explain a bit more for our audience how marketing will then relate and build into sales as part of the way of building up your business?
I think really it's about the story that you tell. So yeah, the marketing can be part of the design, the website, everything that you're doing, and it's about you being found locally. So I think there's about 17,000 businesses locally, and you want to basically find your own voice.
Okay, Mrinal, would you like to add a bit onto that? I can see you're shuffling around, and now you've got your hand up, and you're on mute.
I had a branding and marketing agency, and we used to advise customers about the difference between both. And we said marketing is a little bit like putting some bait on a fishing line and throwing it out there and hoping you catch a fish. And a brand is more like holding a magnet. So there's a little bit of element of that, but I would describe marketing as the act of promoting a product or service. So you are telling people we have this, and sales is once they start engaging, it's actually closing the deal. It's finding out their issues, engaging them maybe a little bit more one-to-one until they purchase the product. And then very importantly for salespeople is making sure they get delivered on the promise that you've offered them as well.
And where does the market research come into this? How do you find out what people actually want before you give them and try and market them, offer the website showing the opportunity for them to get what people want?
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously do
Going to come
focus
over to you, Ariane, next.
You can do focus groups and surveys and all that kind of good stuff. But essentially, some of the top businesses just create their own ideas for products and get it out there and do small tests that way. So we did a night golf event that I mentioned, and we only had 20 people come, and I was looking for 40, but the 20 that came loved it so much, said, when's the next one? That we're now doing 5 in March. So that's an example of testing the product out in the market. And I think if you're small, you can do that. So that was actually our market research.
Ariane?
Yes, thanks, Alan. I would probably say to explain to our audience the difference between sales and marketing and what the different roles are. Marketing is the range of all the different activities that encompasses to represent the business and to bring it forward to the market. Sales is more specifically the activity to go out and sell. But marketing is all the activities, including branding, including market research, that make the business what it is. And it encompasses it's a whole. You need to have a marketing plan in a similar way as we have broken down the sales and marketing team here at Weir. It has different purpose, different activities, different roles, but overall it encompasses marketing. Sales is slightly different, and it would not be a good idea to go sell unless you have a marketing plan set up, clear, that you have established, first of all, what your market is, obviously who your audience is, and how you're going to reach them. Sales is part of reaching out to your audience, if that makes sense.
That's a really good definition. Rob, would you like to throw something into the works here?
Yeah, the easiest way of looking at sales for me is don't look at it as selling. Just look at it as providing a service. And if you're providing a good enough service and providing great value, the sale will naturally come.
The background that I did, I spent 10 years in a marketing company, and they didn't really have salespeople. They had, if you like, people that went round and collected orders. Having done their market research, having done their advertising, having done their promotion, by the time it got round to the sale, the person was already convinced that that's what they wanted to have. And the best part of a salesman's life is just going around there collecting an order and making sure your customers got enough stock and product to be able to use. And the product that the company I worked for was selling at the time was J&B whiskey, and the new products that they were launching with marketing support was a new product that nobody had ever heard of called Bailey's Irish Cream, followed by Malibu, followed by some other big brands of Scotch whiskey that, again, nobody ever tried to sell them to anyone. There was a sufficient demand built up through advertising and market research. And it's a much cleverer way of trying to push what you do. So we at the Chamber did our own market research at our Festival of Business in Hounslow in Brentford to find out what people wanted and when they wanted to have events. And that's when Sally has been rolling out these events, trying to react to when our members want them so that we get the best amount of people coming along and they get the speakers, topical speakers, and they get a combination of these type of webinars so that businesses can learn a best way of selling things. What would you like to say to that then, Sally Smith?
No, a good summation. We're here to help, and we do try to listen to people. And as I say, this is a great opportunity for members to actually, you know, share best practice. So thank you so much. Now, there was one question in the came via the registration. Now it's a bit sort of off-piste, but I've made a note of the chat. The question is, do you know how to invest in Colombia? Now, as I say, I think this is a little bit off track. I've got his email details, Alan. I'll whack you an email after the webinar, so you can contact him direct. All right.
Well, thanks for that. Is that Columbia the state or Columbia the university?
I
or
haven't.
a product called Columbia.
I think it's the state. Okay.
That's the problem with sales.
Yes.
You've got to
Yes,
actually know
yes.
exactly what people want to be able to talk
Yes,
to them about
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah,
Wouldn't you agree, Rob?
Yeah, I'm passing that one on.
I agree, Alan.
There you go.
Well, brilliant. I think yes, yes, it's 10:57, so I think we can draw this to a close. So I've gained you 3 minutes in your busy schedules. Thank you so much, everybody. That was a really useful morning. It'll be recorded. It's on our YouTube channel. Lisa usually gets them up ever so quickly. So please, you know, yeah, and we do find that people visit them afterwards. So yes, once we've got the link, we'll whack it out to you, and then you can sort of send it to your networks.
Can I just ask Mrinal, where was your dad playing cricket? That was a magnificent backdrop, and I hope he didn't hit a 6 and try to break a window in that building.
That would have been a hell of a hit, and I would have loved it if he did it. But it was his 70th birthday celebration at Blenheim Palace.
Right.
You booked Blenheim Palace for your dad's 70th birthday party. Well,
we had a match against the Blenheim Palace cricket team. Wasn't quite booking the thing. It was more managed to, through the connections network, managed to get a game organised against this lovely cricket ground.
Wow.
With excellent teas back in the day when they did cricket teas.
Yeah.
All right. So the lesson to be learnt from that as a salesman then is you managed to draw on some connections, put on a birthday party for your dad at Blenheim Palace, and he didn't realise that it hadn't cost you a bean.
Correct.
So you were scoring points all around. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the full circle. Yeah. Sorry, go on, Sally.
No, I was just going to wind up, but go for it.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that for me, the full circle of, you know, playing cricket, and we weren't very good at networking and all that kind of stuff. And now with the connection, you guys know the cricket connections I have when Mark Ramprakash came to the awards, didn't he? And things like that. So
Sorry, you're breaking
really,
up a bit.
It's really deliberate, but it's happened. So
yeah.
Just one example of how it does work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Ariane a last question before we all disappear, as we've got 30 seconds left. When are you going to implement a penny off a pint, as we all got yesterday in the budget?
Was that, sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of your question, Alan.
When are you, yesterday the Chancellor announced tax was going down by 1 penny on a pint of beer. When are you going to implement that in your pub?
Very good question. I shall pass on that question to Joanne.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. And you know, see you soon at various networking events.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.